the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.
G'day, viewers and listeners. It's Ed Fox back with another great episode of Nashville 2. How do I know it's a great episode? Because this gentleman and I, we have had lunch together, we've had coffee together, and we could talk for hours. We're not going to talk for hours on the podcast. We're going to try and limit it to about 30 minutes, but we'll see how we go. So Nashville 2 is all about telling your story. So if you have a story that you would like to tell, or you know of somebody in Middle Tennessee, Nashville metro area that would like to be on the show, reach out to me. You can find all of the information in the show notes and stuff. And so my special guest today is Trenton Perry. I call him Trent. I think everybody calls you Trent, although probably
Either one.
Your wife probably calls you lots of things, Trent. So I got to talk to Cassidy the other day. That's his wife. She's awesome. I said, "You've got a firecracker on your hands." And she goes, "Don't I know it?" So Trent works with TNC Plumbing. That's TANDC Plumbing.com is their website.
Mm-hmm.
And
with the TN at the end.
And TN, yes.
Mm-hmm.
TNC Plumbing TN.
Got to shout out Tennessee. That's right.
Yep. And so, Trent, what do you do for them?
So I'm the marketing director with them, Mr. Ed. We are focusing on scaling out the business a whole lot more. It's a rapidly growing business. Obviously, with plumbing, it's a service that's not really going to go away anytime soon. Everyone's got their plumbing, and plumbing issues arise all the time. So we're based out in Chapel Hill, and owner and operator Tanner Wesson, as well as his wife Alicia, began this business about 3 years ago. And they came to me, and we had a lot of good conversations. Said, "Hey, we want to go very far and wide with this thing, so let's bring you on and let's get this thing going." So that's what I'm here to do. I help gas them up a little bit, get them on, whether it's physically, virtually. We're just blasting out TNC. That's what I do for them.
Well, one of the things I like about Tanner and Alicia, and they were in my BNI group before they transferred out and you transferred in to my networking group, but the fact that they're honest, dependable, reliable, that type of attitude, that type of let's take care of the customer. Let's not try and, milk them for all they're worth. Let's fix the problem. Let's be a solution provider instead of just one more headache with one more service provider, right? And so
yeah,
that's one of the things. So I wanted you on the show to talk a little bit about TNC, and because everybody moving into Tennessee, just like me last year when I moved into town, I'm looking for all of these things, right? So
yeah.
how do we know the best plumber? How do we know the best electrician? How do we know the best carpet cleaner? Folks, stay tuned. I can help you with all of that stuff. So I have tons of referrals. I have all the qualifications. For those of you listening, you can't see, but I'm holding up a koala now. I don't know what's happening with the lighting. Something's happening with the lighting. But if you need more qualifications, I've got more qualifications too. Now I'm holding up 2 koalas for those of you. Guys, you need to get on YouTube and check it out. I'm wearing my American flag shirt. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. You got a good Thanksgiving dad joke for me, Trent?
Oh, not as good as any that you'd have for me, Ed.
I
know I'm going to let you have the floor on that one. I'll stay in my lane.
Okay. Yeah, well, no worries. I actually skip over Thanksgiving dad jokes and I move straight on to Christmas dad jokes. You know what the difference between the Christmas alphabet and the regular alphabet is?
I don't.
The Christmas alphabet has no L.
No L? No L. There it is. It almost went over my head there, but then I caught it.
You're a tall dude. Like, how could that happen? Wait, how tall are you?
I'm supposed to be bright. I am, on a good day, I'm 6'4". Depends on what shoes I'm wearing. I would say, I believe, yeah, and you see it here. This will get me to 6'4" easily. So I used to play college basketball, and on the Jumbotron, they would send me up there, and they'd say I was 6'4". So that's what I go with.
Okay. Well, I look up to you. That's all I can say.
Yeah, most do, but that's perfectly fine.
Oh, come on. Okay, so TNC, what's your service area?
So though we're based in Chapel Hill, we service all the surrounding areas in Middle Tennessee. So primarily to be, I don't want to be too broad with you. We service that, around Spring Hill, Columbia, whether it's Brentwood, Franklin, Rutherford County. I'm stationed here in Murfreesboro, so we do service Murfreesboro. Nashville, of course, all downtown. We've actually worked with a couple bars in the past, getting, whether it's, some heaters or anything they need, more so on the plumbing side. But, we're really everywhere. And that's where we're trying to be more prevalent, I'll say, is in the Nashville area and in the Brentwood and Franklin areas. So that's where the conversations I had with Tanner were like, hey, we definitely want to get closer to there. We're doing really well in Chapel Hill and our surrounding areas. Right. Let's get outside the box a little bit more and show everybody who TNC is. And I loved what you said. The reason why I'm working with them in the first place is because of who they are. Tanner and Alicia are really just your authentic people. And for the Californians maybe listening who just came out and looking for that Southern hospitality, though it's not hard to find here in Nashville, you definitely want to find somebody that you can trust in this industry, because we're going into people's homes. We're dealing with things that, maybe, a consumer, left out around their house, that they want to trust that we're not going to swipe it off your desk. And obviously, you want somebody in that's not going to, kind of BS you around. And, because I don't know much about plumbing. I'm the marketing director. So I could easily say Tanner could come in here and tell me, oh, this needs change. I need to get with this. I need to get this going. You need to spend about $1,000 on me here. But we don't do that. We really look out for the best of who we service. And that was a big reason why I wanted to work with them in the first place.
Well, and I think that's true too. When I have heard Tanner talk at BNI, and I have talked to him briefly when we were doing the online COVID network, and it's all about building that relationship, right? Relationships are key, and people in the South are great at that. And I spent 30 years in Kansas, originally from Australia, but 30 years in Kansas, and Kansas, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee. They have that authenticness about them that they tell you if they don't like you. It's pretty obvious. When the little old lady, I tried to run her over with the trolley, she goes, "Bless his little heart." And I said, "Oh, thank you." And my wife says, "That's not what you think it means." So
right. No, it's not. No, and I believe I told you too, Cass and I, we spent a little time in Southampton, New York. And when you talk about, first of all, New York already has a stigma about it, but this is a whole other level of New York and of pretentiousness. I'll say, this was another level. And we only made it for about 7 months. Then we got pregnant and said, let's get back to some Southern hospitality, because our son's not going to be raised here. But I think I told you while I was there, we were doing some real estate, and I was serving as well, just to kind of get some residual income and going. And I really made an immediate impact there, just because of being who I am. I'm home and grown, and I'm from the Franklin area. So know that I wasn't born here, but I've been here, most of my life. And it's kind of just come with me, that hospitality that a lot of people have here, and everyone just doing the basic things like asking, hey, can I get you anything else? Can I refill you or anything like that? That is very much we're accustomed to here in Nashville. Everyone's like, wow, this place needed this, because we haven't seen it here. And where are you from? And once I say Tennessee, they connect the dots. So it's funny, but it's definitely an intangible about Nashville that you got to love.
Yeah, and that is true. And we've loved moving here. It reminds me a lot of back home in Australia where I grew up. I grew up in the mountains, and so the windy roads and all that sort of stuff. Only across the mountains in Australia was always the beach, right? Because we like to think we lived in the outback, but we didn't. We lived on the coast, right? So, but man, the nice thing is, if you have a deer here, you kind of like, they come up out of the ditch or they come into the road. The kangaroos used to just jump out of the bush straight into the middle of the road. Coming, like, so people go, oh, the deer, hitting a deer is no fun, which is true. But hitting a kangaroo halfway through a jump and they end up in your back seat or in your lap, that's no fun. So
that's something.
Yeah, that's
something else. Yeah,
exactly. So I love being in Tennessee. And I love doing this show because you just learn a lot of different things about different people. So back to the plumbing for a minute, and we go back and forth and mess around, get on different things. But are you guys focused primarily on any particular niche or niche? However, listeners, viewers, however you say, I'd like to know, like when you see this post, put in the comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, Alignable, wherever we post the video. And is it niche or niche? I don't know.
I think I say it's kind of like, is it a GIF or a GIF?
Oh, it's definitely one of those. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Definitely comment below on that because, whether niche, GIF, we need to know here. But no, that's a very good question.
Peanut butter. I think GIF's a peanut butter.
There you go.
And funny, in Australia, GIF, JIF is is like Comet or Mr. Clean. It's a scrub. It's a cleaning product, not a peanut butter. Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that funny? Yeah. So over here, if somebody says, "Oh, you want GIF on your sandwich? What are you trying to do? Kill me?" That's peanut butter. But anyway, so I digress. Do you have a particular area or a field of expertise that the company likes to work in?
Yeah, that's a very good question because plumbing can be so broad. You see a lot of different areas, whether it's new construction, maintenance, or emergencies, where where a lot of people are seeing those things that come out at you. You don't know you need a plumber until you need one. But we like to say that we do it all. Right now, our main specialty, I'll say, is new construction. We work with a whole lot of construction contractors, builders, some of the best in Middle Tennessee, and we pride ourselves in doing a lot of work. And Tanner's done a really good job of surrounding himself with guys who know how to work in all kind of plumbing environment. We have guys that have 30 years of experience. We have guys that have 20. We have guys that are still learning, that we're training to do things the right way, because we see a generation of plumbers that aren't really around as much anymore. Our master plumber, he's a 5th generation guy that has just had plumbing in his family for years and years, and you don't see a lot of guys like him, so we love having him around to train. But what we see ourselves doing in the new construction business, whether it's your rough-ins, trim-outs, remodels, additions, anything like that, we do. And then we hope to come back to those homes that now have residents in them that may need us in the future, long in the future, since we've set it up to do well, right, for a very long time. But to use us, refer us, whether it's an emergency or a service maintenance, those are some things that we want to step up in our game. Being 3 years in, our primary revenue right now is that new construction side, but we'd love to see a lot more maintenance and service because we're very well handed to do so.
Right, and something to remember there, folks, is the company might only be 3 years old, but they probably have 100 years worth of plumbing experience.
Oh, easy.
Across the gamut of people that work with them and for them. So what I hear you say, Trent, is you guys can take on service work, you can take on new construction, you can take on remodels. If I have a 4-bedroom house and we've only got 1 bathroom, well, there's going to be a need for another bathroom. So that's something that you guys can help with, all the plumbing needs and that sort of stuff. But if it's just my toilet's leaking or the wax ring's gone or something's happened, I can call you guys for that too, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Anything that you need, and especially, it's getting cold out. A lot of those silent plumbing killers, if you will, come up right after, especially in Tennessee, because it jumps all over the place. We'll have maybe a month or two of some good cold weather, and then it already starts to warm up a little bit. So there are a lot of things that you can do at your home to winterify your home, and you can check us out on our social media pages on Facebook. We're going to continue to reach out to people there on our Facebook and our Twitter and whatnot to show some DIYs, 30, 60-second clips of the boss man Tanner himself. He's going to show you some things that you can do to make sure that you don't have to call us, once it gets a little warmer out. But all those little things, Ed, you're absolutely correct. We can help you with. And if there's, any, contractors, builders, if you're looking to build some new homes, or hey, if you're looking just to build a whole new pool house, maybe you got a very wide and optimistic dream of putting in that awesome luxurious pool house there. Obviously you want a bathroom in there too, so we can help you out with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so one of the things that for me is interesting is that with where plumbing's at today, I hear we're moving away from copper, and are we moving to this or maybe this is too technical a plumbing question. Are they moving to that? Is it PEX, or is it something else that they're moving to, or is that beyond your pay grade?
I'd love to tell you. You'd make me a liar here because, again, I'm the marketing guy, but Tanner and them would definitely know, but I know they often talk about that in the office a lot, and it has to do. I've built a big respect for plumbers because usually the stigma is they come in and it's a crappy job. They come in and fix those toilets and those leaky faucets, and of course we do that, but they have to have a lot of knowledge of that. What material to use on a specific job, because these jobs can be so different than what is stated at first. I can say, hey, there's something going on with my water heater, but then I come in and there's a completely different issue at hand. So that's something that is for the professionals to know, and that's why I respect Tanner for bringing the professionals in around him.
Right. As I started in the home ownership level, right, a few years ago, not exactly how many years ago, a lot, 30 years ago, we bought our first house, I think, and I didn't even know how to replace a flapper, right? And they didn't have YouTube back in the day. They didn't have YouTube. So like you'd pay a trip fee for a plumber to come out and replace a $3 flapper, right? Because my folks were back in Australia, and so I didn't have Dad to call and say, hey, Dad, how do I do this? And so now I love the fact that my kids, they'll get on YouTube and they will do TikTok and they will figure out how to do those little jobs. And so the fact that Tanner's going to do some of those videos, I think, is really helpful. And it shows that it's about providing for the bigger community too, right? It's about providing that information. If you want to research it, if you want to DIY it, you can do the basic stuff. And if you're in over your head and you're starting to drown, then you can call Tanner, and
that's when you pick up the phone.
That's right. That's right. Hey, come fix the mess that my husband made would probably be what my wife would say. So,
oh yeah, hopefully not too often there, but yeah,
right.
No, Tanner, he's really good at what he does. He has that different perspective in terms of working for the really big companies like a Hiller that you're probably familiar with in Nashville, where it's just a different perspective than being locally owned, family owned and operated, really caring about what we're doing and having a lot of passion in what we're doing. And that's what makes us so special in terms of what we provide. So it's,
sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, that was it. I was trying to look for the period at the end of the sentence there.
Okay. Still in search. Sometimes all my sentences just run together, but
we'll find it.
So when you first started to come to work for Tanner, you knew Tanner before you came to work for them, right?
I did. So I met him a few times through my brother-in-law, who's also a technician with TNC. So this is a family affair. And so Hunter, my brother-in-law, he turned 30 a little bit ago, and hopefully he's not upset with me for telling that he's turned 30. I think 30 is a good age, so that's why I said
it. 20 years from now, when somebody's listening to this podcast on whatever iteration of podcast software is out there, it'll make him sound younger.
There we go. Exactly. That's why I can always count on you. Right. But so we he turned 30. He has a birthday party. Tanner obviously joins in because Tanner and Hunter are very good friends. They've grown up with each other. Tanner recruited Hunter from Nissan to come and right when this TNC Plumbing started off, they really had a hand in hand in this. So he was one of our first employees. Hunter was. So the conversation started between Tanner and I over a nice game of cornhole. And then we're enjoying Hunter's birthday and whatnot. He starts talking about this thing called BNI.
So I'm going to stop you right there because before I came to America, I had no idea what cornhole was. I thought that really? I didn't even know what to think. So folks, it's a game. Think of it like horseshoes, but you use little bean bags and you slide them on this piece of wood that's slippery and you try and take the bean bag and you put it in the hole. It's more complicated than that. But you know what? There's a thing called Google now. So you can just Google cornhole game.
Really?
Cornhole game. Be careful there.
Right.
Make sure. So then you can find out, because I've got some listeners in Australia, like my mom, my sister, and my aunt. Those 3 listeners that we've got in Australia.
Oh, hey, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely need to shout out to them. So go on. So over a game of cornhole, you guys you're talking with Tanner.
Yeah, and he's talking about this thing called BNI, and I have no clue what BNI is, and he's just saying, well, we're over Zoom right now, and literally it's a place where business owners, I'm sure you've talked about on here, Mr. Ed, as we are in a BNI together, but we come together and work for each other, see how we can bring our businesses value, ask for referrals, and build relationships, which is what I see is most important with it. So he is not the most charismatic guy when he is uncomfortable, I'll say. When he doesn't know you as well. Now, if he's in a social circumstance like a BNI, you got to get up and got to public speak, and that's not one of his niches or niches, as we were discussing here. Comment below, guys. We still need to know. But that's one of his things where he was like, man, I think that you'd be great at it. So I'd love for you to do that for me. Now, I was working elsewhere at the time, but it was an opportunity to kind of look at it and see what else I could bring to the table for him after a few more conversations. And just through talking about BNI, we talked about what else TNC needed just from a marketing perspective, and what I thought that I could bring to the table for him. So after that conversation with Tanner and Alicia, who I also know, and she's a good family friend of ours. My wife Cassidy, she grew up in Smyrna, and Alicia did as well. We know their family really well, so that's kind of how the relationship began, and then it's just grown from there.
And I love family-owned businesses for the good and the bad that is family-owned business, right? We've all seen reality TV like Duck Dynasty and different ones where families work together, and you get glad in the same pants you got mad in. I opened a convenience store in 1983 as a 15-year-old and worked with my 4 sisters that were all younger. Oh, we had some doozies. The customers got free entertainment all the time. So I know that stuff never goes on behind the scenes at TNC Plumbing, folks. I'm just saying that it went on at our business. But
right.
What's the most, what has anything struck you as unique, having not been in a plumbing industry before, and then you come into this setup where Tanner and Alicia and the master plumbers and all of that are working together? Any like little stories or things maybe that you got confused about and like you can sort of tell on yourself a little bit?
Yeah, there are, so me as the social media guy as well, coming in marketing, I have to make sure that we are posting a lot of, information about plumbing, right, that we're talking about. And I don't know that much information about plumbing, which is something that I've had to learn very quickly. And it's something where I ask Tanner, hey, can I ride around with you, a couple days a week or so, whenever I can to come out and see some job sites. So maybe I can pick up some things, because there are just those little details that we don't want to put out on social media that could be wrong. So a lot of what I do, I'll ask our master plumber, Joseph, or Tanner, whoever's available at the time, for maybe a quick tip or a plumbing fact. Obviously, there's this thing called Google that we were just talking about that you can also go on and get some good tips as well. So, I'll search there. But, to tell on myself a little bit, there was a video that I had released that wasn't that accurate. It was there, but it wasn't the standard that we hold ourselves to.
Right. Yep.
And so, yeah, so Tanner and Joseph, they had a look at it and they're like, hey, let's clean this up a little bit, let's edit it, because we don't want any other plumber to come in and say, hey, that's old news. Like, what are we talking about here? And now we're looking discredited off what I've done. So I try to stay in my lane, though, as much as I can. And I always get those things clarified.
That wasn't a big, fat, juicy tattletale there, Trenton. Like that, you really didn't get shown in that bad a light. Like I was looking for something. I was looking for an expose on what Trenton did. So anyway, that's okay.
I will say, it's been 2 months with the company, so maybe, give it 2 more months and maybe I'll have a better story for you.
Well, maybe I need to go take Tanner for a coffee or something, and he can tell me, you goofy.
Right.
That'll be fun. And we'll snag some of those in. Okay, so let's move on to the fun stuff. Obviously, if people want to get a hold of TNC Plumbing, they can go to your website, tncplumbingtn.com. They can give you a call. What's your number? And we'll put it in the show notes too. But
yeah, you can call us at 931-224-1481. We're also on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn at T and sign. So it's TNC Plumbing, T and sign C Plumbing.
Okay, got it. And so when you're not working, and having grown up in the Middle Tennessee area, what are some of the things, like your hidden gems? So on this show, one of the things we do is we sort of have like 3 hidden gems, places you like to eat or go or hang out or do weird stuff, whatever. Heard about a yachting club. I didn't even know Nashville had a yachting club, but there's a yachting club, and that episode will come out in a few weeks, probably before yours. But so yeah, I'm finding out one of the great things is I get to find out about all these cool things to do or places you like to hang out. So what?
Yeah.
Tell me one of yours.
So becoming married here, and my wife and I are. Oh, she's gonna hate me for not knowing the exact date, but we're in our first year of marriage, and we're both the same. Where we're very conservative. We do, stay at the house a lot. But what we do, and I almost said do, but I'll digress from that. What we do until I did. But what we do is we eat a lot of good food. So we do have a lot of good hidden gems around here, being from Franklin, being from Smyrna. One of our favorite places is Brothers Ramen. That is in Murfreesboro. It's on Medical Center. It's opened around, I think, 2018, 2019, if not, but it's real fresh, and it's that authentic ramen. It's not the ramen. It's not the packs of ramen that you can get from Kroger that are actually obscene in price now. I'm sure inflation,
Really?
the barter master here could absolutely help you. But the ramen, it used to be 10 cents a pack. Now I'll digress from that too. But this ramen at Brothers Ramen is very, very good. It's really, kind of getting off the culture that ramen is from, whether Japan or China, and any kind of Asian culture there that is very fluent in ramen. They do a very good job, and I think is about as close to it. So that's really good. And then
do you have a favorite protein that you put with it? Is it like is it a chicken? Is it a beef? What shrimp?
It's a pork chatsu, and that is in the spicy miso soup. It's very, very good. It comes with a half-boiled egg. So it's that boiled egg, it's cut open, and you see the yolk in there, and it's not runny. It's almost like a hard-boiled egg, but it's just a little kind of wet inside. It's nice. And then it has
yes, I'm not
bamboo shoot.
you to write my food blog. I just want you to know.
Hey, well, this right here, if you're a spicy food fan as well, I love spicy food, but I'm always having to run to the bathroom after this and kind of wipe my nose off and everything and blow my nose because I'm clear. It's clear in the sinuses for sure. So,
okay.
But that's a really good one.
What's it called again? Pork what?
Pork chatsu.
Chatsu. You reminded me of a joke, actually. I went to a zoo the other day. It was a small zoo. It only had one exhibit. It was a dog. It was a Shih Tzu. Can I get away with that? I think I can.
I think so.
I'm going to go for it.
With me, you can.
Yeah. The other joke I had when you said it was a half-boiled egg, because if it was fully boiled, a boiled egg in the morning is hard to beat.
That it is. Yeah. That it is. That's a clever one.
Yeah, it is clever. My favorite one is the old man. Did you hear about the old man that fell down the well? He didn't see that well.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah. I see what you did there.
He's in the well because he couldn't see well.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
There we go. There it is.
So, okay. And so does Cassidy eat the same thing, or does she have a different favorite?
She likes the Guniku ramen, which is R6 on the menu. And I know that because that's what she says. She doesn't like to attempt to say Guniku,
right.
But I did ask the server and they did say it is pronounced Guniku, and it is a beef ramen, but it's like a beef string. It looks really weird, but it tastes really good. I will say you have to have an open mind going here.
Okay, so in Murfreesboro, what's this called again? What's the company?
Brothers Ramen.
Brothers
Ramen.
Okay, There you go, folks. And we'll have Trenton's going to shoot over the website and a little blurb on it, and we'll have those details in there. Maybe we can talk him into putting in him and Cassidy's favorite meal as well, so you know what to order.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
So that's one. What's something that doesn't include food, although it can include food? I'm not going to put that caveat on there. How about in my side of town? How about in Franklin? Is there a place you used to like to hang out or go to eat or go to drink or do whatever in Franklin?
Yes, sir. Out in downtown Franklin. I was a 15-minute bike ride to downtown Franklin. I don't know if you've been, anyone who has not been to downtown Franklin, you can find about anything that you'd like to do going there. It's historic, it's fun, it's family friendly. It's just one of those feel-good towns that you can go and whatever kind of food you like. I'm a big mellow mushroom fan. That's really good. But I'll tell you, the hidden gem there is McCreary's Irish Pub, and maybe that's something up your alley,
It's
Mr.
right
Ed.
up my
There,
alley.
yeah, because you can enjoy a good basket of fish and
Mulligan
chips, which is my
stew,
favorite.
yeah, fish and chips. Is their fish and chips good? Okay.
Oh, it's very good. It's very
Okay.
good. And I am a fish and chips connoisseur. There are some fish and chips that I'm like, I mean, it's good, but it's not a pub,
Right.
so this is good stuff. And it has a really good what is it, cottage pie?
Yep. Cottage pie. The
Uh,
difference between cottage pie and shepherd's pie.
yes.
Shepherd's pie has lamb. Cottage pie has beef. Most people don't know that.
Yeah, and it's because the shepherd looks over the lamb. I did know that one, so I'm happy that I can kind of hopefully you can tip your hat at me on that one. But no, McCreary is a very good place. That was open in 2002, and that's actually right when I moved to Tennessee. I was born in Detroit, and I moved to Tennessee, so it's been 20 years now, almost 21, and it's just a very good place, and it has those good kind of Irish pub vibes. They have live music in there. It's a small and concise place, but it kind of gives you that feeling of that pub where everyone's in there raging and having a good time and not caring about who's listening to who. Ed and I were sitting in a Just Love Coffee there, kind of giving free entertainment to everybody.
Yep.
Everybody who was in there listening could hear us because we were having a good time cutting up, and that's Irish Pub is a good place to do that because everyone in there is being loud. So it's really good food, and it's also a good place to maybe go in and get a cold one.
And I'll tell you what, the Irish pub that I found on Murfreesboro Road, it's called Quinn's. It's right there opposite Kroger, next to, is it Sprouts? It's in that shopping center. Anyway, Quinn's Bar and Grill, and they do one of the best Reubens I've had, and they have a great pretzel with Dijon mustard that'll clean out.
Ooh, nice.
And they do good fish and chips too, and the atmosphere is good. But so yeah, I'm finding these little spots around Franklin that I'm loving. So I'll throw that one in there as well. Okay,
yeah.
So what's third hidden gem? We said we were only going to do 30 minutes. So far, we're up to like 48 minutes. So folks, hope you're enjoying this episode. If not, blame Trent. No,
this was predicted. This was predicted, though.
It was predicted. We knew this. Anyway. So what's your third hidden gem, Trent?
So off the top of my head here, once we just talked about Just Love Coffee, which is good, we also have another coffee place that's good, Ed. It's called Joni's, and this is another spot that's in Murfreesboro. It's on St. Andrews, where I used to live. It's also in the Murfreesboro Square. And it used to be called Red Bicycle, but the owner there, it's independently owned, so he was able to change the name, and he changed the name to Joni's because his late mother had just passed. Very sad story, and she had been just a huge influencer in this man's life, and so he rightfully so named the place Joni's, and it's a really fun place to hang out. It's a coffee shop, but it doesn't have those coffee shop vibes where, maybe like a Just Love Coffee, you're kind of in there hanging out and, maybe small talking, getting on your laptop, which you can do. But they have a really good music playlist. They throw in some of that, 50s to 80s rock and a lot of that hip hop. That's just, feel good music. And they have bottomless mimosas going, a nice deal that usually goes that Cass and I have enjoyed on several occasions. And they're just really good people. So on the square, they have some outdoor seating, which is, right there, driving around the square, so you can kind of see all the people walking through. Obviously not now where it's a little cold, but no, it's a really good spot. So I would definitely recommend them. And they have really good food too, which is a definite plus.
Sure. Yeah, it's sort of like the Swiss flag. It's a big plus.
Yep. See, again, I'm catching them though. They almost go over my head, and then I catch them because at first I was like, wait, what? But I have for those who maybe it did go over their head, the Swiss flag has a big plus right there on the flag. So
it's a white plus on the red pad. Yeah. So,
I like it.
Sorry, any excuse for a dad joke? I can't help myself. Did I tell you the one about the kid that swallowed the 6 plastic horses? The doctor must be a dad because he comes out and he tells the parents, he's like, that we've listed his condition as stable. But the doctor has just been horsing around.
Yeah, he could have been.
Yeah, don't know. Anyway, so Trenton, finishing up, anything else that we need to know about TNC Plumbing, Trent and Cassidy, Alicia and Tanner, or your brother Hunter. If you want to tell on your brother, nobody will know. Like, it'll just be you and me, bud.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, no, what I will say, guys, just kind of going over everybody in that list that Ed just named off. We are all people who are very passionate about what we do. We love this city, we love this town, and we love the fact that we're in a business and in an industry where we can give back a little bit and help you with your home or help you with your commercial business that may be in some trouble there with your plumbing needs. So we love what we do because we're helping people, and that's what was so important to me when I met Tanner and Alicia. They truly care about that. They hold a lot of passion and a lot of integrity. And also, I'll finish with Ed. Just remember, with TNC Plumbing, if your pipes need some TLC, use a plumber from TNC.
I think I know that you came up with that, Trent.
Do you?
Tried it out at BNI.
I think I did.
Okay. Well, folks, I think these guys deserve my seal of quality. So I'm showing you a koala. So Tanner and Alicia, Trenton and Cassidy, I actually had a good conversation driving down to Chattanooga the other day with Cassidy. We were talking about some opportunities, and she's so much fun to talk to. Isn't she? You guys make a cute little couple, or not little couple. But
I don't know what she sees in me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, looks right up your nose, probably. I don't know. How tall's Cassidy? Is she shorter than you?
She's shorter than me, but she's a little taller than the average women's height. I think that's what, like 5'5", 5'6", maybe.
Like
I think she's
Allison, my wife's 5 foot nothing. So
was Cass on her good day? I said I'm 6'4". She's about 5'8".
Okay.
So but yeah, she's pretty tall.
Well, but she was fun to talk to, and I know you guys all together as a team, even though Cassidy is just keeps you on the straight and narrow. But thanks for coming on the show. I highly recommend, folks, if you need plumbing in the Nashville area or in the Chapel Hill, Murfreesboro, Middle Tennessee. Let's just say Middle Tennessee. If they can't help you, they might be able to find out somebody that can if it's outside of their service area. But definitely reach out to them, TNC Plumbing. And Trent, thanks for being on the show. We'll have to do a revised a second episode down the road. I don't know what we'll talk about. Maybe you and I could just start a podcast and just riff off each other. That'd be fun too.
We might as well. I mean, this is free entertainment here, so we might as well think of something. And then if we did do that, then we'd have to charge a $2 entry fee, just because these jokes don't
give $1.98 of it back. My dad used to say, "Hey, I'd charge a $2 entry fee for that and give $1.98 of it back." So
yeah, guaranteed. Love it. No, I really appreciate you for having me on Nashville2.com. I love it. Thank you so much for that. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
This is the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.